Also, development of a head. So when we talk about the bilateral symmetry, it's talk about the left and right, okay? But also we can talk about the head and the tail, right? So head is called the anterior, the top, okay? And the tail, the bottom part, is actually called posterior. Okay, so head actually contains all the like a neural information, right? So it contains like sensory apparatus and brain and like ganglia, those kind of stuff, and all the digestive system, all the other stuff is focused at the posterior end. Okay, so posterior is focused on like the movement, and the anterior is focused on actually like directing, right? So it sends the signal to the posterior, and the posterior actually moves fast. Okay. On page 177, it talks about the body cavity, right? So this could be another classification of animals. So body cavities of animals can be these three, okay? So these are called coelomates, okay? And coelomates have these kind of shape, okay? So they have digestive tract, and then you have cilium, okay? And then the body covering, okay, and this is called the ectoderm, all right? So these coelomates have true cilium, okay? Cilium means the body cavity, okay? So body cavity completely lined by tissue derived from mesoderm, okay? So when you have like a real tissue of body cavity like this, then this is called true cilium, and it's called coelomate, okay? Pseudocoelomates are like this, so it doesn't really have the body cavity, okay? So pseudocoelomates, such as roundworms, have a body cavity lined in part by tissue derived from mesoderm, but also by tissue derived from endoderm, okay? So the difference between these two is the first one has a body cavity directly from the mesoderm, but the other one is from half from endoderm and half from mesoderm. You know what I mean? The last one, the acoelomate, is such as the planaria, okay? So they lack a body cavity, so they don't really have body cavity, okay? Between the digestive cavity and outer body wall, okay? So they have like all these packed structure, okay? Remember, here they have some space, right, between the germ layers. This one also, they have some cavity here, okay? But remember, this one is like tightly packed. It doesn't really have empty space, okay? So this is called acoelomate. This is coelomate. And if you have endoderm and mesoderm mixed together in the body cavity, then that's called pseudocoelomate, okay? When you go to page 177, table 12.1, this compares the primitive form of the animals and the complex form of the animals, okay? Remember, in the eukaryotes, okay, eukarya, okay? So when we're talking about domain, okay, we talked about three. We talked about bacteria, we talked about archaea, and then we talked about eukarya. Right, okay? But in here, we also talked about 4 different kingdoms, right? So we talked about kingdom fungi. Okay, they are heterotrophs, okay? Kingdom protists. They can be heterotrophs or autotrophs. Kingdom plants, plantae. Okay, these are all autotrophs, and kingdom animalia, right? And these are all heterotrophs, okay? So out of these, we talk about 9 groups, okay? So out of 9 groups, the first 2, the porifera and cnidarians, okay? These are the most primitive form of the animals. You know what I mean? So whatever that belongs to Animalia, okay, could be these 2 or the rest of the 7. So these are more complex animals. You know what I mean? Okay, so us human, the mammals, okay, all the reptiles and everything belongs here, the more complex form, okay? But then the primitive forms of Animalia kingdom is actually these 2. Okay, so remember, these only have 2 germ layers.